broadcast network, Afterbuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. Afterbuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Let it begin.
Let it begin. Hello and welcome to a brand new The Ultimate Fighter, a champion will be crowned. My name is Daria Berenato, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Mr. George Hermoza and Mr. J. Tan, as always.
And Alexis Torres on the board.
Yes.
We got the band back together again.
We do! And who is this sitting next to me? I said George, but clearly that's not George.
You said I felt very left out last week, so I figure maybe I'd come in and wear a mask today. Because of last week, remember you guys were wearing masks?
That was it?
Oh, right.
I mean, I said...
Okay, fine. This past weekend, I was in a wrestling match. Now, if anybody knows Mexican wrestling or lucha libre, there's a lot of masked wrestlers. So a lot of them would have to have a loser has to take off their mask. I lost a loser has to put on a mask. Because, so pretty much.
Which means that... Well, no, we didn't lose last week. We just wore them for the festivity of Halloween.
Absolutely. We were being festive.
And I'm just that ugly.
There is that.
That is not true. That is not true.
It's completely
Even the box
true.
is talking, saying it's not true.
Even the iTunes fans know that.
Even the iTunes fans know that. Just by your voice.
I do have a nice radio voice. How you doing, Daria?
How you doing?
I like your hair.
Is that how you talk on your radio show?
I like your hair.
I like your hair.
What's your name?
What's your name?
You want to make out?
Ah! I made out with my microphone. Okay, so guys, last week, let's do a little recap. Ashley Daly defeated Angela Magana via TKO in the second round, making Team Pettis 6-0.
Whopping 6-0. You forgot the word whopping. Whopping 6-0.
He likes my notes. You want to know what's funny about when I made these notes? You pointed it out as we were watching the episode just a minute ago. I wrote... I was writing who's in the quarterfinals now, and I wrote Rose Namajunas, question mark. Assuming that she would win before I watched the episode, so
what's her last name?
Funny. It's Namajunas. I thought it was Namajunas.
I just call her Roseberry, since she's engaged to Pat Berry. So I was thinking maybe
you think she'll change.
Yet,
you think she'll change that name?
Yeah, probably.
Roseberry is kind of sweet.
That is kind of
a cute little name.
Roseberry's kind of sweet. Well, they are kind of sweet. Rose and berries.
Roses don't have berries.
No,
I don't think. Anyway.
No, just thorns. She definitely had some thorns.
Yeah.
That fight was amazing.
She was stinging, right?
Yes,
with those lefts and rights and the kicks.
Okay, so Alex Chambers goes up against number 7 ranked Rose Namajunas
this week.
The first win for Team Melendez.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us about that, Jay.
You know, it was a great scrap. First round finish, we had by submission, rear naked choke with, I didn't quite get the time, but probably about
30 seconds left.
Another check. Is it volume better there on me? I was feeling.
I can hear you.
I was feeling a little bit quiet there. Yeah, just about 30 seconds left. You know, Rose came out. I think one of the themes of this show was the build-up that we haven't seen a lot from Rose in terms of her personality, but of course, with every first match the women have, it's their moment for us to get to know them. And so one of the themes really about, her story was this build-up of being potentially the first win for Team Melendez after a long slide, but also, more importantly, this huge build-up within herself of a lot of the pressure she's faced, I think, in her life going into the house and then having to deal with all the training and drama in the house really seemed to hit a boiling point right before her match, as it does for many fighters. But she came out there... This is live internet, folks, like I always say. Then there you go. Somebody's calling into the wrong number into the studio here, apparently.
Do they want to talk? Let me talk to them real quick. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I offered.
Uh-oh.
Mom, we're taping here.
Sorry.
Go ahead. So, Rose came out, both guns blazing. She really pressed the attack, which impressed me.
Right.
And Alex, no slouch of her own, was not quite as aggressive, but when she could get off a combo or so, she did. You know, but Rose really pushed it to her, and it was either Rose was keeping Alex against the cage. Alex shot for takedowns. Well, Rose clinched her and then got a trip takedown. She got Alex to the ground a couple of times.
Yeah, what I was surprised about, I knew Rose had a very diverse stand-up game, very interesting striking. She's known for crazy kicks and
crazy submissions.
She did a flying armbar and a flying triangle a couple fights ago, ending in 12 seconds in the first round via flying armbar, which is super cool. So she's definitely a very talented fighter, but also a very she takes chances in the cage, which I love about a fighter. It's nothing more interesting to watch, sitting on the edge of your seat, knowing any minute it could be a knockout or a submission finish. That's so awesome. But more importantly, I want to step back and talk about the personal side of Rose Namajunas that we got to learn this week.
Suffice to say, though, I think finishing up the match itself, though, Alex, again, to her credit, was working hard for what she could, but Rose had her back a couple of times. Rose really was dominant when she got her to the ground, took the back, and threatened with a choke, and did get the rear naked choke at the end.
I think within the first minute, as watching it from the comfort of my chair, I think within the first minute I realized this fight, there's no chance of Alex winning.
No.
And to be honest with you, had that round would have gone the whole way, I would have gave Rose Namajunas 10-8. I think that she was completely dominant. I think her positioning, I think her posture, it just in every single way was more dominant. Alex did get a few strikes in there, but getting 2 or 3 doesn't mean anything. She completely, I think, was completely outclassed, outmatched, out everything by Rose. Well
said.
I think a lot of it has to do with maybe her fiance being a top kickboxer, in UFC. Because some of those boxing techniques and kickboxing techniques really shined in that fight. And
I think, first of all, I think I said this last week, Rose Namajunas was so confident. Her composure is so, and it's crazy because she's 22 years old, probably the youngest in the house. Not the youngest in the strawweight division, because we do have, what's
Paige
her
Van
name?
Zandt.
Yeah, Paige Van Zandt, who just turned 20, I think. But definitely a younging in the sport and in the UFC. And to have such confidence and composure at that age, going back to what I was saying about her emotional state, she was just going back into her past and telling us something that she has had to deal with recently coming onto the show, and that is that she was sexually harassed throughout her life. She, and
she mentioned abuse as well. I mean, harassment's one thing.
Like she never went into detail. So it kind of is a little gray area, but yeah, definitely you can tell it's something that she maybe gone through, kind of letting everybody know, just not even here, but everybody know. Listen, it's okay to talk it's okay to ask for help. Don't be ashamed of it. Just there is something that people can do to help. Friends, support groups, anything.
It's important to work through it.
Yeah, she really gave credit to Pat Barry, her fiance, by saying that he encouraged her to come out and talk about it, and that it would be a healing process for her dealing with it publicly. Maybe getting support or just having the power to say it out loud and to deal with it and to confront the problem. I give her so much credit for doing so, and I think it's an important message not only to women but to anybody out there that's dealing with abuse, that
absolutely
talking about it is good. It can be good. It can be therapeutic even, I think. And getting help is what you need to do when you're in these situations.
I mean, if you hold it all in for, I think I'm not familiar with the situation, and just kind of basing it off things that I've seen. I've seen that a lot of people that tend to hold it in for a long period of time usually tend to lash out in many different ways.
Right.
So it's good that she's still kind of young and was able to cope with it, with her fiance, with the show, with everything in general. So it's good that at least she's a fighter and kind of be able to therapeutic in some ways.
Absolutely. I mean, even like for me, I don't have a heavy past like that, but getting in the cage is therapeutic for me. Just with everyday drama and struggles, you get in there and nothing matters.
Yeah.
You let everything that is in your life bothering you go, and for those 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, and you just fight. You know what I mean? And when I saw her get in the cage, this is where I'm bringing it back to bacon, as Jay says. When I saw her get in the cage, just the way she was composed and how ready she looked, and the way she fought, just it almost was like a parallel. It almost seemed like her emotional problems were coming through her fighting, like she was literally physically expressing herself in the fight. I mean, just the way she stalked Alex Chambers down, picked her apart, but also a lot of amateur fighters, as these girls are not, they make one mistake, and that's when they see or when they smell blood, they rush the opponent. And then they overstep, and then they get taken down or something, bad happens. Rose did an amazing job getting back to the technical side of keeping that distance. She had her against the cage, but she wasn't up against her. She wasn't really close. She wasn't even at arm's reach. She kept that perfect distance where she could go in with a kick or go in with a punch at the same time.
She picked her shots very well, literally and figuratively, with her combos going up and down. Also, kicks and body shots left and right.
Right.
But also specifically, I'm thinking, knowing when to press and clinch and when to...
Sorry.
You okay there, buddy?
Oh, man.
It's that mask. It makes it hard for liquids to go down.
See.
Went down the wrong hole of the mask there.
More than one hole.
But, she was well composed there. And I agree with George. It was definitely her round, to be sure. One thing I want to note here, last week, and I doubt this will ever get back to Alex, but I owe Alex Chambers an apology. Apparently last week I mentioned that she was a blue belt. I was looking at my notes. It says purple. I knew that. I think blue just came out.
Okay.
Blue blew out of my mouth. I apologize. Alex Chambers going in was a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Wow, okay.
Perhaps still is. Hopefully she's brown or so.
We're so sorry. Well, I didn't make a mistake. He's so sorry. He's so sorry.
I want to make sure I get my facts straight.
Please call him back.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
Alex, come on back.
Alex.
Come on and
Just call.
join us on the show.
Come on. Hang out with us.
Yeah,
We're
you
all
can find me
black belts, right?
at 716 at JTAN716 all over the social media.
All over.
We'll
We're not
schedule
there
it.
yet. We're not there.
We're not there yet. We're not wrapping up the show yet, Jay.
I know. Well, let's take it back to much earlier in the episode.
Yes, please do.
Where this whole one of the things that really tipped off about the show was. Geez, the pettiness and the drama and the cliquishness of this whole thing.
Let me just say this.
I think we're finally getting to that drama that Dana White was talking about now. I guess it has happened in the past, but woo, we got a dose of it here, right?
I definitely had the under in episode 7. I would have thought episode 1 we would have seen that whole drama, Mean Girls.
Right. They've really built us up. They let us on here, but they finally have given us what we've been asking for. Heather Jo Clark.
Yeah. It starts with, of course, the drama at Team Melendez.
So she finds out that she actually tore her ACL, fully tore it.
Yeah.
Not like a minor fracture or anything like that, which the girls have been accusing her of faking.
Yep.
For the past couple weeks.
Getting out of training and doing the bike thing, aerodyne bike.
Just not participating in team training. And they've really bullied her in a sense. They really chose her out of the group and, decided to not believe the words coming out of her mouth. They seemed to think she was kind of like a BSer.
We talked about this in the past couple of episodes.
Right.
And it really got to the point of far too much, mean girl bullying, almost as if Heather had nobody else in the house.
I'm kind of surprised. Maybe it's the editing, maybe it's the producers, maybe it's just the way it is. But if you really think about it, it kind of comes across as hypocritical because you had who were the biggest bullies of them all? Angela, Magana, Rose kind of did a little trash talking too. But it looks like just based on their past, they were the ones that kind of had a previous experience
with the bullying,
abusing
they were a victim.
And molestation and bullying and whatnot. So it's kind of like you would think that they would know better. So it kind of comes across as they're like kind of two-faced in some ways. Of course, that's probably just the editing portion of it.
True, there's
but
that.
it just kind of like it kind of makes you root for Heather, who did come across as kind of unlikable and annoying. Now it's kind of like, oh well, no, it looks like these other girls are kind of the bitches of the group, you know?
Yeah.
But it was always, with Heather, it was always unintentional, trying too hard is, I suppose is a crime unto itself, but life could be worse than that. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not something that's like, oh, I'm blatantly being a mean girl. She wasn't being mean. She's being annoying, and they just decided to pounce on that. To those
women. Maybe others got along with them.
Right, exactly. Not to say that she is annoying.
Yeah, but there certainly was some vindication as Heather comes out and says, here's the paperwork. I've got a full ACL tear off.
There was a moment there in the locker room where she said, I tore my ACL, and I think it was like, cricket, where's your apologies?
Yeah.
And
she didn't get any.
They didn't say a word up front.
Yeah.
Now, even Coach Melendez paused for a minute. He didn't say anything, and I'm like, dude, like, come on, you're the coach, at least say something. Finally, after like once again, editing, it might have been a dramatic pause in the editing room.
I think it was the same shot, his response.
Right.
Well, that sucks.
And then he goes, moments later, he goes, oh, let's go train.
Yeah.
He says,
on
the bright side, let's go train. I'm like, really, dude? This girl just lost.
He's a fighter himself. I don't know how much coaching he does, of smaller, of younger fighters or in wrestling or anything. He's forced into this leadership role. I don't know that it necessarily comes naturally for him.
I think he may have taken to the opinions of his, of his team as well, though.
You think?
Because you saw them talking to him about it in various shots over the past couple episodes. He was informed on the Heather Jo Clark situation.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that he necessarily was processing that as him taking their side.
Right, right. Maybe not so dramatic as that, but he definitely made it seem like that in that one shot. I was like, okay, that wasn't very consoling. She just tore her ACL. She's off the show. It's over.
Well, I think also that's one of those scenarios where if you don't know how to control that situation, what else is there to do but move on and go train? You know? And that's where everyone is in their element and can work these things out psychologically.
Right.
Talking about Rose getting in the cage and letting these pent-up emotions get out and work it out, physically. The same token, that's...
Same goes for them.
Yeah, that's why a lot of us work out.
But to know, she did... get an apology after from Angela Magana, and then you saw Beck Rawlings on the top bunk bed saying she was going to apologize.
Yeah, and
they
Emily
didn't show
Kagan.
it, but
and sure. Those were nice moments.
Yeah, they were.
I think it was important for us to see that. I felt a certain vindication for Heather that she got that.
Yeah, absolutely. It all came together. It was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Not all that hostility.
A couple episodes, Felice beat Heather, and Heather extended the olive branch to squash beef, for lack of a better phrase, and whether that stuck or not, she took that initiative, and by the same token, these other girls did.
See there's like a bit of a Twitter war going on, I believe, between Felice Herrig and Heather Jo Clark, but the one snippet I saw,
ladies, come on,
I know,
just tranquilo, eh?
It was
just hug it out, make out, and invite me.
Jeez. Oh God. Who knew that was coming?
I did.
Ole.
But Felice was saying...
Octagon. See?
Well,
really quick. The masked wrestler, his name is Octagon.
Yeah, nice coincidence there.
This nice little lead-in to the Octagon of
the four
UFC.
masks that I had to share with everybody. The one that didn't get picked last week for the Halloween episode was this one.
Octagon.
So it comes back. Yeah, it is the Mexican luchador Octagon, who's got a legendary past in Mexico, long-time famous luchador.
Interesting.
Octagon.
So ties together with the
anyway
with the platform.
So what I was saying was that Felice Herrig was tweeting something along the lines of, she even said it on Tough Talk when she was on Tough Talk with Heather Jo Clark. She said, "I don't think I would have gotten that apology if she would have won."
Probably not. No, but I do think that she probably would have gotten the, hey, good match kind of thing, as you do. I mean, if you're the victor and you win, if you're the victor, you win by default. If you're the victor and there's a beef, 9 times out of 10, you do at least offer that professional congratulations.
Congratulations, good job, right?
Yeah. I mean, unless you're Michael Bisping and George Santiago, or is it Santiago, right? Not George.
No.
Not George Masvidal. George.
I know who you're talking about. I got the face. I just can't.
Or if you're Ronda and Misha in the second match, and then you'll walk away and you keep that beef.
Speaking of Misha Tate,
yes.
Another thing on Twitter, she stuck out and said that she was not happy with the behavior of Felice Herrig and the others because she's friends with Heather Jo Clark. They've trained together. They're longtime training partners, and they're actually friends. So I thought that was pretty cool. But Felice Herrig got into a Twitter war with Misha Tate. And they were going back and forth.
Maybe a fight at 125 is looming soon.
Misha, I think
doubt that.
Misha started it. No, definitely not. There's a huge size difference there. But Misha started it by saying, oh, that's why you have such a big mouth, on something that Felice had said or something like that.
Okay.
And then it just started this war. And I was reading them back and forth. I'm like, oh my God, someone just stop it already. But
oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Yeah, Misha got in there to defend her, her friend Heather Jo Clark, which, good friends do. But yep, it turned into a war.
I wonder if Twitter's going to go to pay-per-view. If we're now going to start having Twitter beefs, forget the cage, forget fighting. No, let's see this go down in a passive-aggressive 140 characters per shot.
Those Yo Mama joke shows? What was it called? Yo Mama?
Bring it, Torres.
Do you remember that, George?
I do.
On MTV, they
hosted
had
by Vilma Valderrama.
A show called
Fez.
Yo Mama.
Okay.
And the guys would go back and forth, and he would go, and they would say
Mama
Yo
jokes.
Mama
Yeah,
joke.
played the dozens.
Like that, but Twitter tweets. And someone would read them.
Daria, you should do it. You should get.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you should do it. Yeah.
Did you ever see the celebrities reading their negative tweets?
Oh, the Jimmy Kimmel thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
That's cute. Yeah, something like that.
I think they've done that, actually. Carla and Felice did that as well.
Did they really?
There's a clip out there early this season. If you guys go out and YouTube, or it might be a Vine, I believe, possibly. But yeah, Carla Esparza and Felice Herrig.
That's healthy.
Whatever the mean things, ultimate, say, tough 20 mean things, something or other.
Right.
It's out there.
You'll
whatever.
find it, people. You know how to use Safari and all that other stuff.
I hope it doesn't get to that point, because I'd like to continue seeing some fighting.
Yes, I agree. Also, I want to go back to Rose really quick, because I was so impressed with her performance. I want to go out and say, I think she is one of the most sophisticated and mature fighters on the season, which is so crazy to say because she's 22. I mean, these girls probably have years on her. I don't know.
In what way do you think? What's the maturity? I mean, she looked good in the fight,
right.
clearly.
Specifically speaking, the picking apart of the opponent, the mature and confident and calm and patient mindset of Rose. She wasn't rushing, but she was dominating. She wasn't crowding, but she was, you know what I mean? She was so, just, her level of martial arts seemed way beyond that of anybody else on the show. Even, Carla Esparza, I would say, would be the runner-up. Like, those two would be the closest in skill level because of Carla's wrestling. But Rose just seems like, I'm going to say it right now, she's the most well-rounded. I think she has the highest level of kickboxing, including Angela Hill, who's like, hardcore kickboxer. I think she's the stud. I really do.
Yeah, I think, who was it? Was it Pettis or Melendez? Must have been Melendez that mentioned that. I remember hearing one of the coaches saying, so-and-so fighter is a stud. And I thought, that's a funny thing to say for a female fighter.
Did I take that?
But
because Pettis used to train with Rose back in the day.
Yeah, that's another fact from this whole thing.
Right. So he was saying, obviously I want to win. This is a competition, so I'm rooting for my girl Alex Chambers. But at the same time, me and Rose go back a long time. So I also, wish her good luck as well.
Well, she goes up next week against, not next week, excuse me. Her next fight is versus our favorite Scots lady of the show, JoJo Calderwood.
She was looking good.
Rose and JoJo?
Rose and JoJo.
JoJo was looking good.
Yep. And,
oh my God!
He has such a thing for JoJo.
He's not talking about technique.
She's adorable.
You mean you don't?
She's adorable.
Did you not see the bottom of her butt cheeks?
I wasn't looking as much as you were, but she was adorable.
There might have been a shot there of the girls hanging out early in the show.
Somebody might have grabbed the remote and paused it.
Yeah, somebody was me.
That's it, Octagon. Own it. Good buddy.
Octagon.
Octagon. I like that.
So, we're getting a little bit of a denouement, if you will, to Heather and the Mean Girls drama. On the flip side, though, there was also the note. I think we had a little bit more of a build-up. Now, next week we'll see Beck Rawlings fight Tito Torres. This will be the last quarterfinal match of the tournament.
Right.
And, Beck, it seemed like they were laying a few seeds of what's her the seeds of dissension with with Beck and certain girls. There was almost like another clique going on here between Heather, Lisa Ellis, who are both out of the tournament, Tisha Torres, who has switched teams,
right?
And she mentioned the two foreigners. Who was that? JoJo
Ashley
and
Daly.
Our girl Ash the Bash.
Yeah. They were all kind of sitting at a table, and then in the kitchen was Angela Magana and Beck Rawlings.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a clique within a clique.
Right.
Because the clique used to be bigger. It used to be Beck, Angela,
all of
a couple others.
Team Torres, for that matter.
Good point.
Yeah. And so, I remember them, Beck and Angela are talking about how, I guess, Beck is getting salty at Tisha for hanging out with Team Pettis people.
Right.
And, of course, and I think Lisa Ellis as well. I think she was a little bit perturbed at her.
Right.
And you had this strange dichotomy visually of, like, 5 girls having a nice time at the dinner table, and then the 2 girls in the kitchen,
hating.
One of whom has been the mean girl,
Right.
Yeah, and these are the only 2 still left in the having a shot in the tournament. Is that right? Or no, Angela Magana. Yeah, Angela Magana lost, so she's out. But
she's out.
Regardless, you've got the 2 girls left, the 2 leftovers of Team Melendez, as it were. Kind of looking at the other girls finally having a break and being able to enjoy themselves. Mm-hmm. If it's funny, it reminds me of the third act in Casino. Shout out to my girl Allie, who loves the show. When the movie, when you've got Joe Pesci and his 2 guys sitting at the one table while De Niro is over there with politicians and entertainers,
right,
and they're just boozing it up and this and that and the other, and they're saying, "Hey, it looks like they're having a good time with her. We're having a good time here too." That is my Joe Pesci. But
what do you think, George? You like that?
My thoughts exactly.
The Peanut Gallery loved it.
Octagon.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, so you've got this other, like you say, clique within a clique.
Yes.
And yeah,
they're haters. I think they're haters, but Beck Rawlings will speak for herself next week against Tisha Torres. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm really excited for.
Same here.
It's hard. Oh, there you go. The box is excited too.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you the box.
I'm fine with being the box.
Alexis is
Totally
the box
fine with
today.
that.
Has a name.
No.
And it's Alexis Torres.
Oh,
Thank
look
you.
at that with
Thank
rolling
you.
your R's.
Rolling your R's. I love
Octagon.
it. Also, I will fight you for JoJo. I'm just gonna let you know right now.
You're going to what?
I'm gonna fight.
Not
George.
right now.
Right
She
now.
didn't mean right now. She didn't mean right now.
Not right now. Put your headphones back on.
Yeah, you can't hear the show.
Saddle up, saddle up.
I'll do it.
I'm eyeing
Right
you
here,
down.
right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm eyeing you down, box.
Boy.
Guys, tune into our after show that doesn't exist to see that. Because that's how interesting it is.
Oh my word.
Just kidding. That would be funny. But no, what we're saying, Tisha Torres and Beck Rawlings next week.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting. Let me just say this. Beck Rawlings, I think, is the tallest girl out of everybody on the show.
How tall is she?
I don't know. She looks like 5'6", 5'5".
There's a height advantage to her.
Yeah, definitely
for
a
sure.
height advantage. Well, Tisha Torres is very small, so that's not saying much, but there was definitely a height difference between the two when they squared off. Tisha Torres, we know, has really good kickboxing, Muay Thai mixture, really good boxing, and I think Beck Rawlings, they said, was just a class act boxer.
Yeah, well, she was athletic as a child,
Right.
raised, born and raised in Australia. Got into MMA in around 2010, and
Okay.
married Aussie fighter Dan Hyatt. She originally went by Beck Hyatt.
Beck Hyatt, right?
And 3 submission wins. Actually, 5 and 3 submission wins. Two of those under 40 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, just trained all around. I'd say I don't think she necessarily had a strike or combat sports pedigree
Right.
Earlier in life. So you've got somebody coming in. What is this? Beck is ranked number 8 versus Tisha number 3. Tisha is 4-0, but she's seen some 16-4 in amateur Muay Thai. She's seen some pretty significant fights.
I know a little
time.
bit about Tisha, just because she trained at the same team as she trains
Right.
an American top team.
ATT girl, yeah.
Yeah. While I was there for a year, I saw her here and there. I didn't see her much. I don't know if she was at the other locations. There's tons of locations in Southern Florida. But I do know that she works with my old coach, Steve Bruno, who is the mitt trainer for Hector Lombard, Thiago Alves Pitbull, all the guys a lot of the guys at ATT. So I know she definitely has great Muay Thai. As you said, she has a Muay Thai pedigree. Her stand-up's second to none, almost. Yeah. She's famous for her axe kicks and her her crazy
she's crazy black belt in Taekwondo and possibly karate as well, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they definitely a Taekwondo style. You can see that in her kicks. Mix that with a sick Muay Thai style. She has great stand-up. Obviously, her ground game is her fault, but I don't think she's bad there either. She's very strong, as her build suggests. So I'm excited for this one. But Beck Rawlings is tough as nails. I think I've said this every week because I saw that fight with her and Carla Esparza when she took it last minute in Invicta. So I don't rule her out at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tisha Torres here. I don't think she's gonna pass up this second chance.
Well, that's the thing is we talked about last week. It's Tisha has the second chance. Here's an opportunity, and she needs to jump on it.
Right.
Which is something that Beck saw in the Carla Esparza fight, taking it on a short notice and just going the distance as best she could.
Absolutely.
So it remains to be seen how she does under that pressure. But when for most anybody, and I feel that's the case for a lot of combat sports or fighters in general. When your back is against the wall, it brings the best out in you.
You got to fight, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a valid point. Beck Rawlings is ranked number 8. Tisha Torres number 3.
There is that as well. Now Tisha has fought and she's had a match. Beck has not. So the injury bug, if it's there for either of them, Tisha having fought could have. She
could have
had to risk
injuries.
That exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's my point.
That's a good point because it wouldn't be out right now. We'll probably hear about it after the fight if there is one. So that's a good point. She could be dealing with something that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, like Heather Jo Clark, it's possible she could have had that torn ACL during the fight. It also could have gotten worse in the fight.
I'm sure it got worse in the fight.
But think about that. I mean, she's been complaining about her knee. Here it is, a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So I want to give Heather Jo Clark some credit here, where credit's due.
By all means, yeah. And that's something she's going to be out. An ACL, folks. They were saying 9 months to a year. Thank you. Yeah. So that conversation or that announcement a couple of weeks ago about all the women fighting on the cast members fighting on the finale. She's joining Justine Kish on the sidelines in front row there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to see her when she does get her shot, and we hope she recovers and heals up smoothly and soon. But, it's not going to happen. We're going to wait till... we'll have to wait till the spring to see Justine and Heather.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll definitely be back. They're two tough girls.
Sure. Well, they'll get their shot.
But they're going to be out
girls.
for...
No
pun intended.
Pun intended.
TUF. Yeah, but I think they'll be back, and I think they'll be, great contenders in this division. I really think this strawweight division is stacked. I mean, I don't see a huge difference in talent as we do in, like I always mention, in the bantamweight division. It's kind of like, everyone and then Ronda Rousey, but
because they cherry picked from the top 10 or 15 already, just brought them over from Invicta. Yeah,
right. It's a great point. Whereas the other weight classes, they had to work their way up and work their way into the UFC, which makes makes there more room for difference. But
do you think Tisha Torres is going to win next week?
Yeah.
That's her pick. Yeah,
that's my pick. What do you think?
Well, I'm not going to pick until I hear the Afterbuzz TV predictions.
Do we have that?
We have that. Come on,
your
guys.
Afterbuzz TV predictions.
Look at that, George. You asked and you received.
Is it that easy? Oh, wow.
I can do it again.
Yeah.
Please
That's
don't.
okay.
Do it again. Oh, wow.
She actually listened.
And now, your Afterbuzz TV
predictions.
You didn't say predictions.
Because I'm too busy predicting.
He was thinking it.
I predict I will go against your pick and say Beck Rawlings wins. Tisha Torres, 2-time loser, 1 season. Sorry, you're cut. UFC, go back to Invicta.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Jeez.
Ouch!
Hey, that's good.
That is good.
He's going out on a limb.
I'm not hating his pick.
He's putting it down there.
Oh, Too soon.
Yeah. Enough of that, Octagon.
You know, what's funny, too, is that I think we're at episode 7 of the series. It's, if I remember correctly, I believe it's 12 one-hour episodes, and then the 13th one is the finale.
Okay.
So we've got now, we're almost done with the quarterfinals. That'll leave us, let's see, 4 semifinal matches and then 2 final matches. That's 6 matches that got to get fit into, let's see, 7, so there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 6 matches that have to get into 5 more episodes. This is you know, when you talk about the series, the overall arc of the series, this is when the things start to kind of falter off. If we still had the rules from Ultimate Fighter 1, you know, half of the crew would be gone, or half of the cast would be gone, you know, from the house. But now...
by what standard? Oh, meaning...
By the rules.
Right, okay.
You know, but this is when it really gets down to the dynamics changing of a team, you know, team versus every woman out for themselves.
For themselves, right.
Yeah, which, you know, we're at that point, and with Rose winning this week's match, it's now 7-1. I'm sorry, no, it's 6-1 with 1 more to go. In terms of the you know, the team versus team stuff, that means now that we're getting into the area where teammates are going to start fighting themselves, and that's something that also was touched upon for Team Pettis.
Yeah.
You know, and it ties to the strange cliquishness within the cliquishness of the show that we saw. You know, with Melendez. Now it's the same thing for Pettis as well, where people are starting to pick and choose who they train with.
Bottom line is, it's going to get weird because think about it. You already had girls on the other team. You already saw them in the house. You already shared a bathroom with them and said, okay, those girls are my potential opponents. Now, the girls that have been helping you train to kick the other girls' asses are now your potential opponents as well. It gets to the point where you start to realize, if you hadn't already known this going into the house, that MMA is not a team sport. Bottom line.
Okay.
You can train. Listen, I train with one of the biggest teams in Southern California.
Yep.
I have a team,
Yep.
and I love every one of them.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I don't realize that the girls that are 115 on my team, we're eventually going to be in the UFC together if we both want to go all the way. And there's going to be a day where Dana White or
you're gonna fight her. Yeah.
She's going to offer me that fight.
Is there anybody you wouldn't fight?
No.
Exactly.
There's not a single woman on this planet you wouldn't fight.
No.
I
Doodle.
My mommy. Yeah. Never fight my mommy.
Technically, that's an answer.
She's a woman.
But the point, what I think is fascinating, this is MMA, it's gray when it comes to that answer. Is it a team sport? Is it not a team sport?
It's not.
It's not at its base, but you don't excel and you don't get better unless you have a team that pushes you.
Absolutely.
And therefore, in some ways, it is. So it's not black and white; it's gray, and that's
a good point.
Makes it so what's the word? So competitive and fascinating. It's a very complex sport because of that. It brings itself. I don't know personally how boxing arranges itself in this respect. I know there's boxing teams.
I could talk on this actually.
Okay, do so because
definitely.
It's not the same as a wrestling team
absolutely
that trains, and each person has their own weight class, and that's that.
That's that, right?
Yeah.
It's a very good point because my boxing coach, he's an old school boxing coach, and he has trained 90% boxers, and he has a couple MMA fighters, but he trains mostly boxers. And what he says to me every day, he's like, "Daria, you got to listen to me. You gotta realize these girls are your competition. They're not here to help you." And he's real blatant about it. He's like, "They're not here to help you. They're here to train and get better." He goes, "What I do with my boxers, especially my high level boxers, I find them sparring partners, random sparring partners from friends of friends of friends, and I pay them to come spar with my boxer, and that's it. At the end of the day, they don't even shake hands. They leave. That's it. Nice to meet you. Let's go." Right. And they go back to their gym. Never. 2 boxers at 155 helping each other out and they train at the same gym and they're friends. That doesn't happen.
Right.
It's too competitive. And, he just pointed out that he tells me all the time, not that I believe all of his, theories, but he always tells me, "Daria, it's not a team sport. It's not a team sport. You don't need to be sparring every Friday with the team," is his personal belief. And I'm like, no, I got to spar. I got to get better. And he's like, "No, come hit mitts with me. Come work technique with me." And he has his own beliefs. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's certain, most until it gets to that point where you've got to deal with that scenario,
right?
You might as well spar. If you have sparring partners, you might as well use them.
Absolutely,
because there's times that you don't get them.
That was on a different note. That wasn't he wasn't saying that because of the whole team thing. He was saying that just to get one-on-one work. But that it's a different perspective on the sport, and he's someone that's so adamant about it not being a team sport and not needing the team. Now, I don't think it's a team sport, but I do think you need teammates in a sense, if that makes any sense. I don't think
that makes it a team sport in some points.
Yeah, it does and it doesn't. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you don't need to be best friends with everyone you train with, and if you are, you need to be able to separate in your head. Okay, if Sean Shelby called me and said, "Can you fight?" So and so, you need to be able to say yes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Because I have the type of personality where it's like, I don't want to say no to any fight. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, this is a sport, and you should get in there. And the fighting a friend, should be a sign of respect, because you're going in there and you're testing your skills against each other.
That's a great way to put it. And if you have two mature people, whether female or male, two mature people that are so adamant about martial arts, they would understand that. I respect you. You are my friend outside of the cage, but listen, it's game time. It's business time. This is our job. Yeah, absolutely. So
it's only 10, 15 minutes. I mean, you guys can get over it. You know what I mean? You guys aren't in the cage. It's not like you're fighting for like an hour.
That's
10
a
minutes,
point.
15 minutes, just fight.
And the way that most fights go, if two people go to the very end, and 10, 15 minutes of fighting, you should be congratulating each other.
They're going to be hugging it out. Absolutely. Exactly. Good point, Jay.
Yeah.
Just something for people to think about and for the girls to work through in the house. They're going to have to fight each other, girls, so you might as well train together while you have them.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
We're going to wrap it up here. You kicking us out, Alexis?
Yes, I am.
Now she is.
It's a late night
Shout out to the U.S. women's soccer team who made an appearance on the show.
Very good.
Yep.
Sydney LaRue, I love you.
And you can find him at G Hermoza 28.
No, Daria B28.
I'm just G Hermoza.
He's just G Hermoza.
Sígueme Twitter, Instagram at GHERMOZA. Gracias.
Jay, take it over.
Octagon!
JTAN716 all over the usual suspects, and we'll be seeing you guys on Sunday with our double shot.
Yes, we will. Daria B28. You can find me all over your social media. Also, check out my new Facebook page, Daria the Jersey Devil Berenato, where you can find all my latest MMA details. Also, guys, we have Rockhold Bisping, Shogun OSP, Last Minute Change coming up Saturday. We will be here Sunday at 6 p.m. talking about it, possibly with a really cool guest. See you later.
Really? Oh, wow.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Afterbuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the Afterbuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterbuzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of Afterbuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.